Welcome back to Apex Alchemy. Today we're going to do a deep dive, take a glimpse at a couple of Todd Begg Steelcraft series knives. They're both very similar and they're both very different for their own reasons, but it deserves a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a comparison. First we picked up the glimpse. It's the mini glimpse. I bought a glimpse and a mini glimpse at the same time. So this is Courtney's knife, and she carries it. She's used it. She's abused it. It's an M390. No, it's an S35N.
Right.
Sorry. The fluted blade. It's roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's all right at 7?
Yeah.
Right at 7 inches. It's a great knife, man. It's a great knife for that size if you need a knife this size. And we paid, I want to say $349 for this knife, something like that. And carbon fiber and titanium backspacer, titanium pocket clip. I think the pocket clip's titanium. But man, it's just a really smooth knife.
Mm-hmm.
It's got really good action. It's been like I've not lost any sleep buying this knife at all. You know, it's been a really good knife. But they released this series. It's a Begg knives, and it's a budget line. And this is the same knife in different steel in G10. So the steel's D2. It also has excellent action. It doesn't fall shut as freely as the more premium model. It's $72.
And hasn't been used or broke in at all yet.
No. So this is the first look at this one. Of course, you've seen this one in the collection if you've watched our videos. But, you know, the attention to detail is like they've rounded off the spine. It's got a fluted barrel. I mean, not a fluted barrel, but a fluted blade.
This one, the fluted blade, of course, is colored black.
That's right. It's probably got a DLC coating or something like that on the inside of it. But Todd Begg's one of those guys that I don't mind investing in, and I'll tell you why. Is like I told Todd one time in a conversation on Instagram, it was an old account, like I couldn't prove it now. No blade wobble while it's closed. No blade wobble while it's open. No lock stick. It's just, man, it's. I think it's an incredible value. But
oh, I'm sorry. No.
You're good. Thing is, man, is like I bought a Field Marshal and Damas Steel way back in the day. I mean, not way back in the day. What was it, like 2018, 2017, something like that? I can't remember exactly. I shot Todd Begg a message on Instagram. And I was like, hey, man, what kind of steel do they make this Damascus out of? And I'm not sure if Damas steel was a new thing at the time or I was just actually seeing it, you know, around.
Right.
I think that was the first knife that I actually paid attention to Damas steel being used. I'm not saying it was the first knife it was used on. I'm just saying it was the first knife that I paid attention to it being used. And like 7 minutes later, I had a response that, bro, I have no idea. It's Damas Steel. It's their own brand. They do their own thing. He said it's trusted. You know, like it's good quality steel. We like exchanged messages back and forth. He, you know, like I'd never done any business with him other than buying a Steelcraft. It turned out that I'd had several conversations with Todd Begg. You know, like in the upcoming months, and I really had aspirations on buying a custom. And we were discussing prices on some things, and I told him straight up, I was like, dude, I'll never be able to afford that. You know, like like what I was wanting was like well over $5,000, and I'm even this. You know, I've grown as a knife collector, you know, since those days, and I still doubt I'll ever spend $5,000 on a knife. And that's just me as a collector. I don't, you know, like I don't.
You'd have a real hard time convincing me to.
Yeah, I would. No, you know, So I asked him. I said, "Well, does it help if I buy a Steelcraft?" And he said, "It helps tremendously." He said, not just for like the money, man." He said, "It's it's getting my name out there. It's putting like when you share a picture of a knife, it helps me out tremendously, especially if you got something positive to say about it." He said, "But if you ever have any problems with anything, be honest about it." And I really vibed with the conversations that I'd have with Todd, and like he probably don't remember me, like that's just the way it goes,
Right.
man. It's been years, but he was super cool. I've never talked to Mark. Mark is his brother. I hope we run into him at Blade Show. It'd be really cool to ask them, what OEM they're using, if they're willing to give that information out. Look at the pivots. We don't have our scale in here right now, but the
weight feels the same.
The weight does feel identical.
If it's off any, it's marginal.
If it's off any, the blue one is a little heavier than the.
And I thought the same, but I wasn't sure because I was swapping from left hand to right hand.
Right. The pivot size on the more premium is a little bit bigger, but both of them have that domed type thing going on. I don't know if that'll pick up on camera, but honestly,
and the G10 feels very, very
yes,
similar to the carbon fiber. Like it's very hard to tell a difference, especially on the backside where the pocket clip is, where you don't have the cutout. Like it's very, very close feel.
Like I said earlier, I think the more premium version feels a little more powdery, like a little drier to the touch, and that I might not be using the correct.
I get exactly what you're saying. This one feels a little kind of like slick wet, but not wet, but
not wet,
but slicker. But if you're not looking for that difference between the premium model and the budget model, you probably would not notice.
Right. No, it's man. I personally am impressed. Like the similarities. You just said something with the pocket clip.
Yeah.
Like look at that. The pocket clips.
They're the same.
They're almost identical.
Oh, it's got different screws down there, don't it?
Well, this one screws into the body.
Okay.
This one is integral, I think. Right? Like no, it's not. It's just made to look like it's integral. But I don't know. It connects differently, like this one's flat. It connects to a flat, but he still used the same ceramic.
The
detent.
ball bearing.
Yeah.
Or whatever they call that.
That's easy on your jeans,
ball.
Man. It's easy. It's really easy on your jeans. It was one of the things I really liked about the Field Marshal. The few times I did carry it, and I didn't carry it much. Courtney can tell you, it pretty much sat in the drawer. I never used it for any kind of hard use. The one thing that I would say that the budget has an upgrade on versus this one is this one's on IKBS ball bearings, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not caged. So like if you was to take this knife apart, the ball bearings, if you're not careful, the bearings could go all over the place. This one appears
to be caged.
It definitely doesn't rock the IKBS logo, so like I'm assuming it's not going to be that, but I'm not. It may even be phosphor bronze. Like I can see some phosphor down there, but that doesn't mean it's not phosphor cage ball bearings. So like, we'll see. We'll dig that information up. We'll probably do a standalone video of this knife in the future. At least a review, because one of us is going to carry it.
And I have had plenty of experience with this one. If I carry this one and use it, I should be able to give a pretty decent review of how this one carries versus this one, how this one performs versus this one, because as y'all can see, most of my blades do not have scratches and bangs and stuff on them.
No,
and this Todd Begg does.
And I expect this to be your knife.
Yeah.
But like, I may carry it for work, or I may just grab up my own. I do, there is one in this series that I do want. It's just sold out, as the time.
What was that one called? It started with an A.
Yes, it did.
Asula? No.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Something like that.
It wasn't designed by the Begg. It was designed by somebody that works for him, and that's totally cool. But he's probably an in-house designer or something. But it wasn't designed by Todd or Mark.
Most of them on the budget line, most of them on most sites are either 79 or 120.
Yeah, man.
Depending on the model.
This one's 79. This one's 349, and it's not 349 anymore because you can't get it. So like you might be able to find it on the secondhand market for cheaper than that. You might find it on the secondhand market for a little bit more expensive than that.
We've seen it go both ways since we've had it.
Is it worth it? That's going to be totally up to you. I don't know. All I know is this thing come like razor sharp out of the box. It's in D2. It's Chinese D2. Not everybody's going to be a fan of that. We definitely know it's made in China. Don't know who the OEM is. I have no clue. I'm going to take a stab. I really hope it's Best Tech. Like, I don't know why, but that's, like, it just kind of reminds me of a Best Tech. We got a dog at the door, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good night, buddy. It's not a dog, it's the kid.
Okay. So as a kiddo's bedtime, I didn't realize it. But wherever I was at, this is the mini Beluga. Mini knives aren't really my thing, but I tell you, like I play with this knife a lot. Like I've said it before. Oh, they can't even see it.
It's your fidgeter.
It's my fidgeter. I sit at this thing sits on the arm of my chair in the living room or watching TV. I'm constantly flicking it. I love that little knife. Another knife for size comparison, be like the kite fin. This is a wee kite fin. Do you have your Roxy back here? Or is it in your purse?
It's in my purse.
Okay. Yeah, like that Roxy pretty much stays in her purse, and I'm glad of that. But it's around that wheelhouse, man. It's about that 7-inch mark, and with that Warncliffe sheep foot drop, modified drop point, whatever you want to call it, it's a very useful utilitarian blade.
Yes, it is.
And I was so impressed with this one. And you guys know I like bigger knives. If you follow the channel, you know I like bigger knives. And so like whenever I had the regular size glimpse, the first thing I said was I wish I would have ordered 2 of these.
Right.
Like, cause like it's not all the time that I'm looking for a small knife, but when you need a small knife, this is overkill.
Right.
And I love the Formaxes. But like when you need a small knife for a small task.
This is the size of the handle of this one.
I love what Deion Page said. He was like, man, he said, if you're trying to lay carpet with a sledgehammer, it's going to end in blood. Like not every knife is for every task, and I love big knives for the not just novelty. They feel better in hand and all that stuff. But when you got to have a small knife, you need, you need something you're comfortable with. And this thing, like it's got enough of a forward choil, maybe a sharpening choil, but I can get the tip of my finger in there and I can get down and get those precision cuts.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I love about your knife.
The only thing I wish on both of them is they would have put a little bit of jimping right there where they rounded it.
Yeah.
Just because with a knife like this, you can do precision, but there's not really.
They went on most Beggs that I've handled, and it's not been many. I've had the glimpse, and I've handled a bodega. I've never owned a bodega, but I've handled one. And what was the other one? The Field Marshal that I owned. Most of them, he goes for a very, very smooth area where that jimping normally is. And that's a deal breaker for some people. One thing I do like is the ramp that he'll leave this ramp on most of his models. I'm not going to say it's there on all of his models, but it's a thumb ramp where you put your thumb and it kind of locks you in.
Yeah.
In a different kind of way. It's not, and I don't even usually find myself using that. Like normally, I'll use this, this size of knife in a pinch grip, something like that, or whatever, but especially if I got some sort of precision cutting to do. But it is there, if you were, it's a different kind of locking in, like you put your thumb right there. I got a 4-finger grip some kind of way, and when you choke up a little bit, and you got even more purchase. It's just a stellar knife. I can't speak on the steel.
Right.
We can't speak on the quality. We
And
can speak on the fit and
so,
finish.
Right.
I would say I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
you're fine.
I'll say the fit and finish is definitely
right on par.
above its weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
on par with the premium model.
Yeah, I mean, the premium model, it's carbon fiber. It's got the inlays in the G10, so that you can't feel the seam, so it's seamless. So this is where a lot of your money's coming in at on this
Yeah, and
model.
you can see the outline of where it would go.
Yeah.
On these.
Right.
Like it's got that outline through there.
And honestly, I like the feel of that the budget model in my hand better because it doesn't have the fluted handle.
Yeah.
That's just personal, but I might be able to reverse flick that thing. I might be able to cut my finger off trying to. Oh, look at that. What's up with that? I don't know about this one. I've never tried it. Yeah, you can reverse flick that thing. Okay. Anyway, sorry, got off topic there. But the video is long enough, and it's too long, so I apologize about that. We're edging on 17 minutes, but I'm excited about this line. It's an offering that is imported that I don't have much problem getting behind.
And I really was impressed that it was that close to the same quality, feel, and action and all for that much difference in a price.
Well, I'm glad I figured out how to do that. Oh my, this one flips a little easier.
Yeah, I think that one's just gonna need some work in time.
More than likely. Okay, that's long enough, man. Sorry, a 17-minute video. You guys have a great one. If you're going to Blade Show, we'll see you there. If you're still watching, look for a new thing on the channel.
Yeah.
It'll be here. All right, you guys have a good one. We'll catch you on the flip side.